Good evening, everyone. Yes. It's been a while ago since I talked through a microphone, but good evening, everyone. Vancouver, Edmonton, and wherever you might be. My name is Ries. I'm the managing director of Delft Real Estate Enterprises. Down. There we go. And Delft Real Estate Enterprises invest in multi-family apartment buildings in the province of Alberta and BC. We do this by finding deals, analyzing them. Once they make financial sense, we invest with them through JV partners, and by generating a profit for our investors, we succeed. We do this on a daily basis. We do this with pride, passion, and integrity. Pride because of what we stand for, what we've accomplished so far. Passion because we go out there, we love real estate, and we think about it day and night. And integrity because we feel honored about the investors trusting their money with us, and therefore we'd like to be honest and transparent with them. You might hear my accent. This right here is the country where I'm originally from, the Netherlands. I need to point it out with a dot because it's almost too small and we need a magnifying glass in order to see it. But the Netherlands are well known for its windmills, its colorful tulip fields, and its delicious Gouda cheese. All right, enough with the cultural background. Let's start over to my favorite topic, which is about me. Oh, shouldn't have said that, of course. Fast forward 30 years later, this is where I am. I work for the largest lighting company in the world. I travel all over Canada and help growers decide upon their lighting strategy to grow fresh produce year round. If I'm not working or I'm not finding any real estate deals, I'll be out and about, being active. I love going to the gym. I love running marathons, and I play soccer here in the West. I have a big family and a lovely wife. We have 4 children, and we age from the age of 12 to 18 months. And I've been fortunate enough to travel all around the world. Back in the days with my parents in Europe, and then I started backpacking in Southeast Asia. And for my work, I've been to Africa as well. I've been to most of the major cities in North America. But my real estate journey started in 2015, back in the Netherlands at the time. And I, with my brother, anxious that we, so what, you take the hammer and you handle experience there. Enough about myself. Let's move, which is about the deal.
I got you. Sorry, I'm doing some tech support. Can you try to stand just a touch closer to the laptop so we can hear you a bit better?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, keep it going.
Okay. My time's still running, or did you?
No, you're good. We'll
Okay.
add a little more to it.
The deal. I'm pitching tonight a pretty large deal. It's 10 fourplexes out in the town of Innisfail, Alberta. You remember that game Monopoly, where you want to get a full street? So this is your game. This is your game. The buildings are pretty worn down, so that's why we get it on a discount for $2.5 million. We $2.5 million, and the renovation costs are $1.1 million. So tonight I'm pitching in front of you and Edmonton and whoever's home for a total amount of $3.7 million. The beauty about this deal is that we're going to get our money back within the next 6 to 8 months, because we're going to apply a BRRRR strategy, which stands for we're going to buy, renovate, rent it out, and then refinance. And if we do it well, we earn most of our initial investment back.
Can you hold the mic just a touch further away from your mouth and just be a little bit closer to the laptop? We're having some serious sound issues.
Uh-oh. Do I have to start all over again for all the people in Edmonton?
Okay. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? That helped out. Please just keep it going.
They don't see my face, so I hope that they really like my voice. All right. All right. Well, we'll move over to the next slide because you might think, where the heck is Innisfail? Never heard of that. Well, it's between in the corridor between Edmonton and Calgary. It's a neighboring town of Red Deer with about 8,000 people. It has 4 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school. Now, if you haven't heard of it, guess who has? McDonald's, A&W, Tim Hortons, and Boston Pizza all have their location there. The offering that I'm making tonight is I'm offering 25 shares of $150,000 each for a 65% equity stake in our joint venture. The remaining 35% is being split between me and my business partner. The joint venture is for a duration of 5 years, after which you can either exit or we will refinance. Just like what Nadine just said, with us as well, whenever you invest your money with us, we will always pay your initial investment out first before we start splitting the profit. The profit consists of the principal paydown, the appreciation over time, and the cash flow throughout the project. And what we're offering is we do a payout each quarter of the cash flow, and we also provide a financial report on the status of the project. And you tap in with the team that has expertise and foot on the ground. So here we see on the screen on the right hand side, we see a little breakdown of the renovation cost. We are talking with 2 different contractors that have confirmed these numbers. And together with the purchasing price of $2.5 million, puts us into the deal of 3.7. So how are we going to earn this money back? Because it seems a heck of a lot of money. So doing our research, we find out that comparable fourplexes in the town of Innisfail are being sold for $450,000. Multiplied by 10 means $4.5 million.
Ries, I'm going to pause really quick. We're having some serious audio issues in Edmonton, so can you just project? We'll give you a pass for no mask and just see we're small enough room here that I think everybody can hear you. So just keep it going.
Okay. Everybody can hear me well? Yeah. Good. All right. So we've done our comparison research and we found comparables that in the town of Innisfail, fourplexes are being sold for $450,000. Multiply that by 10 means 4.5 million. Now we've been conservative in our calculations, and it's a little small to see, but we estimate that the bank is going to refinance for 4.3. Knowing that we're in the deal, with a 75% loan to value, that means that the bank is going to grant us a mortgage of $3.2 million. Knowing that we're in the deal for 3.7, doing a quick math, we're now only in the deal for $500,000. And we still own the 10 fourplexes. That's a heck of a deal already. But it gets better, because if we look at the cash flow, we estimated that the rent is about $850 a door. Multiply that by 40, and it gives us a gross income of $34,000 a month. Taking away the vacancy rate, the property management, the repairs and maintenance, utilities, and insurance, and we still hold on to about $6,000 in year 1, up to $8,500 in year 5. Looking down at by the end of the 5 years, what would be your return on investment? For our capital partners, it is projected that you get to split $971,000, which will turn it into an ROI of 85%. Divide that by 5 years, and it gives you an annual return of 17%. To conclude, who do we do this with? We work with local partners. Soul Property Solutions manage 460 properties in the area, of which 119 actually in the town of Innisfail. The owner / my business partner owns 260 properties himself, of which 17 multifamilies, of which 3 in the town of Innisfail. We got feet on the ground. We have local expertise. We work with, for the legal side of things, we work with Gasoline Alley Law Group, who've been guiding us in the past and who will be helping us setting up the JV agreement, the JV corporation, and taking possession of the building. For the financing, we work together with the Bank of Montreal, which we have direct contact with and which will give us preferential terms. So to come to my last slide, let's press the right button this time. Why invest with us? This deal is about economies of scale, tapping into the opportunity of owning 40 apartment buildings. We work with an experienced and proven team. And we're capturing back most of your initial money already after 6 to 8 months. It's a high net cash flowing property, $6,000 a month, and an annual return of 70%. I hope that this deal sounds interesting to you and that we could connect over the next couple of days. If this deal sounds too big to you, I also have a couple of smaller JV deals lined up for you. I give the floor open for questions.
Well, you get our judges on the go. So I know we've got, so how's the audio now that I'm talking in here? Can I get a thumbs up from Edmonton? Thumbs down from Edmonton? Thumbs up. Jen, can you put on the screen Edmonton and Vancouver as a side-by-side, please, so that everybody can see us? And we're going to grab some feedback. So Keaton, why don't you give us feedback first?
Sure, I just had one quick question, and that was about the cash flow. What amortization and rate did you calculate that at?
Yeah, we calculated at 25 years amortization rate, and because we have direct contact with the DMO bank, and the business partner have been doing many multifamily deals already, we have calculated a 2.3% interest rate.
Okay, perfect. And what vacancy were you running?
We're running currently at 3%, just because the buildings are basically all brand new. Normally, whenever it's like an older building and we don't do the renovations up front, we calculate for about 7%.
Sounds like a really interesting deal. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. So, who else would like to chime in and give some feedback or ask some questions on the deal?
Or I'll jump in there. So, Ries, I'm not quite sure I'd invest a significant sum of funds into Innisfail. You haven't really proven or shown what's the net migration, and people that work at McDonald's and Subway and what have you that are in Innisfail aren't necessarily going to be able to afford $450K in mortgages. So on that front, I think I'd want some more data on your due diligence.
That's excellent feedback. Thank you very much.
He said exactly what I was going to say. That was one thing. I was looking for jobs. I was looking for what's the economy in Innisfail. All I saw was 8,000 people and McDonald's and Subway, and that just didn't sound very secure to me for an investment. Me personally, I think everything you put together is great, but for me, I'm looking for, and trust me, I love math, I love numbers, but when someone's pitching to me, I just want to hear it. I think it's simple. I want to know that I can trust you. I want you to give me the basics, and then afterwards, I'll go do my due diligence on the numbers after the fact. I just want to know that you're the type of person that I can trust and that can do something that I can't do. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what Ray and Wayne said to get a little more discussion going. So when you're dealing with a market that speaks for itself, for example, like a Surrey or like a nice part of Edmonton, the big urban center, you don't have to do as much selling on the location. But when you're doing a more, like from my perspective, the more unknown the location, the more you're gonna have to really sell me on why that location pops. So I really like how this deal has that renovation component where you get to exit the capital back out. I know I'm supposed to be moderating, but I like giving feedback too. So I'm in on it. I'm the unofficial fifth panelist. And I'm just going to reiterate what these guys said. So that's I think that's great feedback. And for when you're going and continuing your pitch. Why Innisfail? Great question. Barry, over to you.
Thank you, James. I think we're all singing from the same page in the hymn book. Over over a good chunk of time, I've observed that small towns in Alberta are cyclical, and they're wildly cyclical compared to bigger cities. So I would really have wanted Ries to tell me that Innisfail is a more stable place, and that long haul, the vacancy rates aren't, 38% 3 years out of 10. So I would like to hear more on that side of it, the cyclical side of renting in Innisfail.
Yeah, so if I may elaborate to that.
Sure, yeah, we can all hear you.
Yeah. So Innisfail, as you might have seen in the notes, like it's only 20 minutes drive away from BRRRR, which is a larger city. They have 100,000 people living there. They have a pretty strong economy going there, and it's an hour and 15 minutes away from Calgary. So in the country, as I got to know Canada, an hour and 15 minutes is really just down the street. So yes, I understand your concern that it is a smaller town, although it's also for lower income people, and that's also what the rents are for, with $850 a door. So I think that yes, it's cyclical, but on the other hand, there's always demand for lower income housing. I think.
Awesome. Now, does anybody else have? I mean, we all kind of picked up on the same vein that when we're dealing with a small urban center, there's a perception of risk that requires a little more explanation as to why the town makes sense.
If I may say one more thing, the other thing, the interesting part is if you are in the deal with, let's say, only $20,000 for fourplex, I mean, what if after 3 or 4 years the economy collapsed? I mean, you already get your money out. That's it. That's the deal.
Yeah, so maybe let's get a comment or two on how the deal looked from the BRRRR portion of the deal. So, Hugh, what did you think about his plan to renovate, refinance, etc.?
I think that there could have been a little more detail on that side. My thought would be, and you've got a little bit of a solution with 2 contracting companies, but tackling 10 fourplexes at the same time. If it's anything like my experience, there'd be a lot to manage, and in a smaller town, I imagine crews would be limited. One side note too that I think would have been interesting would have been an exit strategy on potentially, these are 10 fourplexes, separate titles from my understanding, potentially setting them up and then offloading them to other investors as cash flow properties. So one partner comes in, you buy for a year, and then you offset the 10 smaller parties, let's say, or seeing if you can find 10 investors, one for each property. Just a side thought.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, that's another creative way to manage an exit strategy. Great comment. Now, fellas in Edmonton, does anybody have any final thoughts before we give Ries a round of applause?